Here we have AquaBot 2, the latest robotic fish from HexBug. And as you can see, this is a kind of angelfish design. There are multiple different colours and designs. And just before I get this fish in the water and show you it swimming, I want to mention, before you throw the packaging away, be very careful because on the bottom, there's actually a couple of spare batteries because the batteries included in the fish are demonstration batteries and might not last very long. And I'll show you in another video how to change the batteries. Let's get this fish in the water swimming around. Okay, there's no on-off switch as such. The actual fish themselves have got two small contact points on both sides that are actually moisture sensitive, so when they're in the water they actually make a small conductive circuit and that allows the fish to swim. Now the reason it's just on it then is because I wet my fingers just a little bit just to demonstrate. So let's pop the fish in and it's just deciding is it in the water, and it is, and as you can see it's already having a splash around. Now what I'm going to do is adjust the camera angle so it's down and low so you can see into the tank a little bit more clearly. Now as you can see it does this at different speeds, so at the moment it's doing a kind of middle sedate flap, but it's also able to do a faster flap. In fact, almost on cue it started to flap a little bit more vigorously. And that, when it really wants to get its kind of flip on, its flapping on, will enable it to actually dive down under the water as well. So it's the variability of that kind of flap and the random nature of the fishtail movement that enables it to swim. Now what I'm going to just quickly do is pull it out of water, because what I want to also do is to show you that when it's out of water, it will then turn itself off. So that's one way of it turning off. Now there is another way, and that's the inbuilt timer that each of these AquaBots have. So after about 5 minutes of play, now you know you're not going to time and cook an egg by these aren't timers, but after about 5 minutes of play, each one of these will actually stop flapping and it will just sit in the water. Now the reason I've just given it a tap downwards, and this is a bit of a tip, sometimes when you've had the AquaBot out of water for quite some time, it's got a little bit of dust etc, it can trap and hold on to small air bubbles, and those very small air bubbles can actually affect the buoyancy and stop the fish from doing what it's doing now, which is diving, and that's part of the fun. So you want to be able to do that and see your fish dive. One tip I can give you is to give it a little dunk in. A solid hard tap usually gets jolts all those little air bubbles off. And as you can also hear, its tail is going much faster at the moment, so it's in its high beat kind of mode as it were, so it's really having a good little swim around the tank. And it's also, because the nose is slightly nose heavy on all of these fish, that enables it to dive, so that's actually how it goes and dives. So at the moment, if this bowl was even deeper than this, it would be really quite deep. So I think this angelfish is a real deep sea diver. It likes to go down quite a long way. I think I've seen some periods where it's been flapping its tail so long, I think it had gone down 2-3 feet or so. So in a swimming pool or in a bath, great fun. So even bigger bowls than this would be great for this kind of fish. Now it's also hard to see, but under these bright lights there's actually a light that also pulses on and off. The angelfish has got a kind of glow, and the glowing LED that stems from the back half of the fish goes along the sides and actually illuminates the eyes. Now what I'm going to do is also dim the lights a little bit. Let's just start with my overhead light as it comes round. My camera's got to get used to the light, but you can already sort of see it coming on now. So there's a kind of a line that's of light that's along the sides, and if you look closely at the eyes of the fish, there, perfect, you can actually see that they actually glow, which I think is really fantastic. So it's an extra little feature that these AquaBot Smartfish 2 fish have got. They've got this glow, and I think that really does add another little detail and aspect to their play. So I'm going to just quickly pop in an original AquaBot fish. I'm going to make him swim the other direction. Just the same direction, sorry, just so you can compare and see speed and style. Again, I'm going to let this orange fish come round, and then I'm going to give him a little tap just to get the bubbles off. So in fact I can reach over, there we go. So as you can see, a few little bubbles come off, and that typically again helps with the buoyancy and will help the fish sink. So now obviously the fish will go at different speeds depending on what mode they're in and what mood they're in at the moment. But let's just see how they compare when they're having a good little swim. So we're going to wait for the orange fish to decide to have a good little flapping session, and at the moment he's quite happy just poodling around in circles. Whilst they're doing this, I'm going to introduce also a shark. This is AquaBot version 1 shark. Let's get him deep diving. Oh, almost too close. He's gone straight for the orange fish. Now that is the trick these sharks do like to do. They do like to attack these fish. I'm going to try and get the orange one away a little bit. No, he's really got his eyes on the orange fish, unfortunately. So that shark is a ferocious fighter and certainly will pursue them. Now they will touch and grab each other because they've got magnets in the tail fin, so the tails have their kind of a little metal linkage that links to the tail that is actually oscillating between two magnets. That's also being alternated by the electronics inside the clever robotic fish, and that's what enables them to swim. So it's a little bit of a fun game you can play where the sharks hunt the fish, but as you can see, the shark is absolutely brilliant at catching that orange fish at the moment. Now the angelfish, the new AquaBot Smartfish 2, seems to have avoided the shark so far, so maybe that's one of its new kind of skills, that it's brilliantly evading there. Did you see that? It actually went just underneath the shark, perfectly timed. So I think the deep sea diving of the angelfish is keeping it in really good stead. I'm going to actually help the orange fish a bit more, because if he doesn't get a move on, that grey shark is coming around again. Come on, come on, come on. That's it. It's actually putting its foot down now, and it's flapping a little bit more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave these fish alone for a while whilst they're swimming around. And what I'm going to do next is to show you the way that the angelfish will actually go to sleep and how to wake it up. So it's got a different way of being woken up than the original HexBug AquaBot ones, the orange and the grey shark. So I'll just show you that. Oh dear, the orange fish has been caught again by the shark. I'm going to pop these two out because their demonstration here is really for the AquaBot 2, and we'll come back once the fish has stopped swimming. Okay, as we see, the AquaBot has now stopped swimming. Now, just a quick point, as you see, it's floated to the surface, which is perfect. So either when the 5 minutes have gone by and it's decided to turn itself off to save the battery, or even if the batteries were flat, the fish will float to the surface. So you're not going to lose your fish. It's not going to sink to the bottom of a swimming pool or your bath and be out of reach. So that's a really nice, quite quaint feature. Now, the AquaBot 2 feature has the ability to be woken up by a tap on the side. So all you need to do is give it a couple of knocks, 1, 2, 3, and it wakes up. Now that's a nice little added extra feature. Obviously you can't do that in the swimming pool, and unless your bath has got very thin sides, I doubt knocking on the bath's going to work, but it's perfect for goldfish bowls and containers like this. Now AquaBot themselves, HexBug, actually have a range of goldfish bowls that are indeed plastic, and they sell them. So this particular one is actually sold as a goldfish bowl for very small fish. But it's also perfect for the AquaBots and other robotic fish. But as you saw, an extra tap, tap, tap wakes the fish up. So all the features, all the new features of the AquaBot seem to work brilliantly. You've got the lights, you've got the new feature where you can wake up the fish. I also like the shape. This seems to be a good deep sea diving fish. One feature of the shape, I'm going to try and catch him now. Now let's just see whether he's going to want me to catch him. Here we go. As you can see, you can grab him by the fin, take him out the water, and he's going to stop flapping any moment now, once he realises he's out of the water, that is. There we go. I'm going to pop him on the table. Now, one other thing about the angelfish design is it stands up on its nose. Now that, I'll tell you why that's a good reason, because there's no stand with the AquaBot robot fish. Standing on the nose is really good, because otherwise if you're not careful, they can be a little bit tail heavy. Let me put the a V1 AquaBot fish here. As you can see, I'm slightly damaging that tail fin, and that can actually affect the orientation that it swims. So this, keeping your fish nose down, really extra tip there, just to keep the tail fin in perfect condition, because the straighter and more aligned you keep that, the more fluid and more real the fish will swim. So the tails, if they do get a little bit twisted, you've got to straighten them by hand, and it's just one less thing you've got to worry about when you're playing with your fish. And let's just end with a quick little shark battle. Can these AquaBot fish evade the shark? Are they really that much better? So I've got in there a standard AquaBot fish 1. The angelfish is going underneath already, avoiding the shark. And again, the shark only seems to be able to find version 1 fish. And I'm going to take him out because he's clearly lost. I want to now see whether the shark can pursue and find the Smartfish 2 or not. So let's just make sure there's no air bubbles at all, and make sure the shark's working full and functioning well. And let's just see whether the shark's actually able to catch this angelfish. or whether the AquaBot 2 Smartfish technology includes shark evasion. Now I've got some other videos where you see the very same great grey shark hunting down some of the victims in this very bowl, and it's been quite successful and does seem to be able to catch all comers. Let's just see whether the Smartfish 2 angelfish, and it's a really bad time at the moment because he's decided to slow down its tail fin unless he does a dive now. Come on, angelfish, dive, dive, dive. The shark's coming. Oh, and I think the shark might get him. I think one more revolution. Luckily, the shark's also decided to take a little breather there, and it's just stopped its tail flap quite so much. It's getting a bit more aggressive again. The angelfish has definitely decided to just play to the camera and dawdle around the front here. Unbeknownst to it, right behind him, there's a very hungry looking great grey shark, who's also now playing to the camera because he's decided to stay still for a little bit. There's all kinds of little tricks they can do with their tail, and he's now lost ground as the angelfish gets away and has dived. So he does seem to be able to avoid the great grey shark. In fact, I think he's going to insult the great grey shark now by lapping him. Yep, that guy doesn't know where this fish is, so let's not tell him, let's not ruin his fun. And with that, I think we'll close the video, and I'll declare the AquaBot Smartfish Technology 2 an enhanced fish, and I'm going to have to now try and upgrade my sharks to see whether he's managed to avoid that. Look how close they are. Oh, are we going to just get a catch right at the end? No, the angelfish managed to stop and let the shark get away. Wow, so fantastic, great new technology, really great addition to the HexBug AquaBot range. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like, subscribe and comment.